Hi friends, fellow bibliophiles, and zombie lovers. Welcome to Kat's Novel Adventures. I am super excited today because I am sharing my TBR for Zombiethon. I will also include a few recommendations for you. May is Zombie Awareness Month, and to celebrate, I am hosting Zombiethon, a month-long event where we will be reading and watching all things zombies. I released a Zombiethon announcement video earlier in the month. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. It includes my Readathon and Watchathon prompts for this event. However, you are not obligated to use the prompts. Normally, when I celebrate Zombie Awareness Month, I'm a mood reader and a mood watcher. I like to read whatever I want to read to celebrate zombies. So they're there for inspiration if you've never celebrated Zombie Awareness Month, but I want you to participate. The whole point of this Zombiethon is to immerse ourselves in zombie culture and to have some fun. Also, you do not have to read as many books or watch as many movies as the prompts suggest. If you just read one book or watch one movie or whatever, do whatever you want to do. I just want you to participate and have fun. There are 7 readathon prompts plus a group read, and the first prompt is Zombies or Zany? Read a humorous story. I chose Kate Walden directs Night of the Zombie Chickens by Julie Matta. This is about a young girl named Kate who is a filmmaker, and she has some unusually high maintenance supporting actors, her mom's chickens, and she has a leading lady who happens to be her best friend. Well, she is going to film a movie until her best friend turns into a soulless zombie and ditches her for the popular girl at school. So then Kate has to figure out a way to make her film, but also get some revenge and deal with diabolical chickens. Here are a couple of recommendations for this prompt. The Zombie Survival Guide by Max Brooks, where you can learn the myths and realities of zombies, as well as some very valuable tips on how to survive a zombie apocalypse. You might also want to check out The Proper Care and Feeding of Zombies by Mac Monadon. It has a nice little quiz in there to see how much you know about zombies, and I'm thinking I might ask those questions in one of our live chats. And last but certainly not least is It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Zombies by Michael P. Spradlin. I know it's not Christmas time, but you can get yourself prepared for the upcoming holiday season by singing some Christmas carols that have to do with zombies. Prompt number 2 is Zombies Can Be Open-Minded. So read a zombie story with romantic vibes. And I have chosen Dreadfully Ever After by Steve Hockensmith. This is the sequel to Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I'm not going to give any details about what the story is about, just in case you have not read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. However, I will tell you it includes romance, heartbreak, cannibalism, martial arts, as well as shambling corpses. And my recommendations are to read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies by Jane Austen and Seth Grahame-Smith. I love this book. It is Pride and Prejudice sprinkled in with zombies, and you get to see some Bennett sisters kicking some zombie ass, and it is a lot of fun. And if you want to find out where it all began and how they became these zombie ninja warrior women, then I would recommend reading Dawn of the Dreadfuls. This is the prequel to Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and it is also by Steve Hockensmith. The third prompt is zombies can be moody. So read a middle grade zombie story. And I have chosen the second book in the Dead City series by James Ponti, and it is called Blue Moon. It follows a young girl named Molly Bigelow who has recently become a part of a group called the Omegas. There are zombies in New York City, and this is her second adventure with having to deal with them. I believe it takes place around Thanksgiving, all the way up and through like New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. But it should be a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the first one. So my recommendations for middle grade stories are Dead City, the first book by James Ponti. It follows Molly Bigelow in New York City, and there are zombies living in New York City all over the place, and they just want to live their life. They actually can think and hold jobs and do various activities, but they live in a different part of New York City. However, some of them are not too crazy about the living arrangements, and they start to cause trouble. And Molly ends up becoming part of a group called the Omegas, and I don't want to give away any more information because she goes through a whole lot of stuff to become part of this group. Another middle grade recommendation is The Enemy by Charlie Higson. This is the first in the Enemy series. I consider it more upper middle grade or YA, but very, very good. It's about a group of kids who are navigating the zombie apocalypse. Adults are the only ones who are getting the virus, so these kids are alone and on their own. And they have to not only navigate a world where they're trying to survive and get away from these zombies, but they also have to deal with some humans who are not very nice as well. But it's very intense, very exciting. I really enjoyed it. I actually got the second book in the series, but it's quite a chunker, and I think I may have to hold off on reading it for this month because there are other books I want to get to this May. Prompt number 4 is zombies can be brainy. So read a nonfiction article, essay, or book about zombies. And I have chosen Zombie Theory, edited by Sarah Juliet Lauro. And this is literary criticism and cultural studies that have to do with zombies. I found this pretty interesting. It's about how zombie studies have manifested across academic disciplines. So let me just share this one little thing about the essays. It says, essays portray the zombie not as a singular cultural figure or myth, but show how the undead represent larger issues. The belief in an afterlife, fears of contagion and technology, the effect of capitalism and commodification, racial exclusion and oppression, and dehumanization. As presented here, zombies are not simple metaphors, rather they emerge as a critical mode for theoretical work. I just thought it would be pretty interesting to read a few of these essays throughout the month of May. As far as nonfiction recommendations, I highly recommend the Zombie Research Society website. They have tons of fabulous articles as well as other zombie-related stuff. And they just recently published an article back in February, and it is called Do Zombies Feel Pain? Exploring Sensory Neuropathy. In addition, if you want to read a nonfiction book, I would recommend The Serpent and the Rainbow by Wade Davis. He's an ethnobotanist who travels to the Haitian countryside to do some research on some men who were drugged, buried alive, and then resurrected from the grave. Of course, there's a little bit of danger involved in his research because some people did not want him snooping in their business. So this has to do with the voodoo religion and some of their practices. But I really enjoyed it. And of course, there is a movie with Bill Pullman called The Serpent and the Rainbow, which is kind of loosely based on this book. Prompt number 5 is zombies can be imaginative. So read a comic book, a graphic novel, a manga, or a picture book related to zombies. And I chose Brains, Not Just a Zombie Snack by Stacey McNulty. You know I love picture books. I couldn't help myself when I saw this. I will be learning all about the brain with a zombie tour guide. This could also count as my nonfiction selection as well. But it's really cute. Listen to this. It says, if a zombie nibbled on your brain, you wouldn't even know it. A brain can't feel. But don't worry, you can keep your brain. Just do something great with it, like reading this book. So I just think it's really cute. I love it. I'm excited about it. Here are a couple recommendations. Max Brooks wrote a graphic novel called The Zombie Survival Guide: Recorded Attacks. It's illustrated by Ibram Robertson. I read this last year. I really enjoyed it. So basically, it took some of the stories from the survival guide and they just put it in graphic novel form. Also, I would recommend the Walking Dead comic book series by Robert Kirkman. In addition to the Walking Dead comic book series, I also have Extinction Parade. This was written by Max Brooks. It is about zombies and vampires. Vampires are having an issue finding food because humans are turning into zombies. So there are 5 in this series of comic books, but the artwork is really good. The illustrator for this is Raul Casares. But look how gruesome. But if you like zombies and vampires, this might be a series that you enjoy. They have 5 in this series, and then there's also one called The Extinction Parade War that has 5 books in it as well. As far as zombie mangas, I have not read any yet. However, my son Andrew recommended I Am a Hero. It is about a mentally unhinged manga artist who witnesses the beginning of a zombie apocalypse, and he is only certain of 2 things: that he is going to come out being a hero and that he possesses something that is very rare in the Japanese community, and that is a firearm. But it looks like it might be a good time. I just need to get my hands on one of them. I need to go check Books A Million and see if they actually have it. If not, I may have to go ahead and order it. But I really am interested in reading manga because I have not read any, and I think this would be a good place to start. Prompt number 6 is zombies can be enterprising. So read a zombie story that has made it to the big or little screen, and I have chosen The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. I have seen this movie. I think I watched it like 2 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. It is about a young girl named Melanie who has been infected with a zombie virus, and she is being held in a military facility. And they come to get her daily, and they have to bind her and make sure that she can't bite them, and then they take her to class, and then when she's finished with class, she goes back into her cell. I am really excited about reading this book. Kelsi actually gifted this to me, and I'm excited. I love the movie, and I'm hoping I'm gonna love the book just as much. Here are some recommendations. Cell by Stephen King, where our cell phones actually turn people into zombies. You might want to check out World War Z by Max Brooks. It talks about a zombie apocalypse that happens across the whole entire world. And then you could read Pet Sematary by Stephen King. It is not a zombie movie in the traditional sense. However, when certain people are buried in the pet cemetery, or animals, they don't come back quite the way they were when they were alive. The last reading prompt is Zombies Can Be Spontaneous. So this is a mood read. So you can read whatever you want to read for this prompt related to zombies. I have not chosen my mood read as of yet. I am waiting to see if our May selection for my personal book club is zombie related. If so, I will put that in my mood read slot. Now we also have a group read, and I actually nominated our group read for my book club, and it is The Night of the Living Trekkies. This is actually a humorous book, so you could use it for the humorous prompt for ZANY if you want to. You could also use it for the bonus prompt, which is to have a zombie on the cover, because there is one on the cover. But let me just share what this book is about if you're interested in joining us in the group read. It says, Jim Pike was the world's biggest Star Trek fan until 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan destroyed his faith in the human race. Now he sleepwalks through life as the assistant manager of a small hotel in downtown Houston. But when hundreds of Trekkies arrive in his lobby for a science fiction convention, Jim finds himself surrounded by costumed Klingons, Vulcans, and Ferengi, plus a strange virus that transforms its carriers into savage, flesh-eating zombies. As bloody corpses stumble to life and the planet teeters on the brink of total apocalypse, Jim must deliver a ragtag crew of fanboys and fangirls to safety. Dressed in homemade uniforms and armed with prop phasers, their prime directive is to survive. But how can they last in the ultimate no-win scenario? So this is written by Kevin David Anderson and Sam Stahl, and I want to say that you can get it on Kindle, a physical copy, and it's also available on audio. I think it's going to be a good time. I think it's going to be fun, and I'm excited about reading a book with all of you and then discussing it at the end of May. Before I wrap up, I wanted to mention that there are bonus prompts. Some of the books that I mentioned today can be used for the bonus prompts, but I just want to run through them really quickly, and that is Z is for Zombie on the Cover, O is for Old School, anything published earlier than 2003, M is for Mood Read, B is for Blood on the Cover, I is for Interesting Cover, E is for Earned an Award, and S is for a Stephen King zombie story. Talking about stories, I have 2 short story collections I want to share with you, and both of these include a Stephen King short story that's related to zombies. So the first one is called Zombies Encounters with the Hungry Dead. This is edited with commentary by John Skip, and that's what it looks like. Stephen King is a contributor, but also Neil Gaiman, Max Brooks, Ray Bradbury, S.G. Brown, and 27 more. And of those 27 more, Kelsi Robert R. McCammon is one of them. He has a story in this book that is called Eat Me. And so I might check that out. That might be my first introduction to Robert R. McCammon, who I know you absolutely adore. But the story that Stephen King wrote for this collection is called The Return of Timmy Baterman. It's actually a story that is told within Pet Sematary. It really is a neat story. It's about a young boy that goes to war and then he dies and then of course is revived. But I'm not going to tell you all the details about that, but it is quite good. If you've read Pet Sematary, you know what I'm talking about. And then the other collection is called Zombies, a Compendium of the Living Dead, edited by Otto Penzler. This was gifted to me by Kelsi, and it includes stories by Edgar Allan Poe, Richard Matheson, Michael Marshall Smith, H.P. Lovecraft, Theodore Sturgeon, Guy de Maupassant, Joe R. Lansdale, Robert Bloch, and many more. And the story that Stephen King contributed for this book is called Home Delivery. Now, if you have nightmares and dreamscapes by Stephen King, Home Delivery is also in this collection as well. That is my TBR for Zombiethon. I know that May is going to be a busy reading month for many of us, but I am hoping that you might be able to squeeze in a zombie story or 2. And if not, maybe you can join me for some of the activities I have planned for May. If you have read anything that I'm planning to read in May, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any recommendations of zombie stories, I'd love to know that as well too. I'm always building my zombie book and short story collection. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you stopping by. In the meantime, stay amazing and be adventurous.